Hey friends, welcome back to another Figma tutorial, and today we are going to design screen time break app. And this is the basic requirement of the application. Based on these requirements, we are going to design a proper mobile application. Okay, so the first journal UX, I want to set break reminder. So the journal first UX requirement is I want to set break reminder so my eyes don't hurt. This is the main issue and the very important issue to address. I want to see how long I have been on my phone. Another big issue, I want to block apps during focus time. This is also point, like for example, we need to keep in mind. Okay, and the next is like a solution. So for example, eye care timer. So basically this is mainly related to the eyesight. I want a 2020 rule reminder every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This is a really best exercise. I want to track my daily screen free time. I want gentle notification that don't stress me out. App blocker. Okay, so this is also the most important issue we need to focus on. I want to block distracting app during work hours. I want to see which apps waste my time most. This is also a big issue. I want to set daily limits for social media, stats dashboard. I want to see my weekly screen time trends. I want to celebrate screen free achievements. I want to compare my usage to healthy goals. These are the really practical application we are going to face. Like for example, if we rank this issue, so I think this is the number one issue nowadays facing everyone, like including me. So that's why I decided to create a mobile application and to solve this practical issues. Okay, so that's it, and this is our brief, and now we fully understand what we are going to create. Okay, so on the basis of this brief, we are going to start in designing our app. So let's keep this brief aside, and now we are going to create our frame. So by pressing F key on the keyboard, we are going to select preset from this preset panel. So let's select iPhone 16 Pro. This is the best presets to start with. The first thing I'm going to do is to renaming. Okay, so 01 underscore, this is the home screen, the first screen we are going to design. So next we are going to define some corner radius. So by the way, I'm using a design system file. If you are new to this video and you don't know about the design system, we have created a full series, a video series. So we create colors, typography, 8-point system, and all these stuff we have already defined, and I'm going to only use those what we have defined in our design system. If you are really interested to learn about the design system, so please, I will provide you the link in the description. You should definitely watch these and create your own design system based on our video series. Okay, so let's create our corner radius. So we have already defined our corner radius. Now we are going to select this 32 pixel corner radius. Okay, next we need to define white color. So we have already white color in our preset in our design system file, which is foundation and white. So I'm going to select white color. Next we need a status bar. So for the status bar, I'm going to type in the asset search field status bar. Okay, let's type here, and here we have this status bar iOS provides, so we can use it, center line and align to the top. Okay, so this is the perfect size we need to focus on. Okay, and let's close this and open our layer panel. Okay, so now we have status bar and this is our page. Let's duplicate this page one more time, and this is page 2, which is going to be eye care timer. This is the second screen, and third screen we are going to design, which is focus mode, and the fourth screen is going to be states. So these are the four main screens of the application, and we are going to design these screens. Okay, so let's start from the home screen. Okay, so let's quickly zoom in and let's create our background first. So for the background, I am thinking like a blur shape. Okay, so we can select ellipse by pressing O key on the keyboard and send it to back. Okay, make it something like this. Okay, so this one is going to be, I have already color system in my design system, so we don't need to worry about colors. So let's say I'm selecting this pink, and let's duplicate, select this purple. Okay, so pink and purple. let's adjust these shape, like for example let's make it some kind of random shapes, okay, and something like this. Rotate this, and this slightly needs some modification, but it's totally fine. Okay, so now I'm going to group these by pressing Command G on the keyboard, and let's quickly rename this background blur. And now I have already presets for the blur, so I'm going to type layer blur, and from here I'm going to select the 4XL one. Okay, so as you can see, this is now looking perfect, and let's add some spacing here. Let's adjust it. So I think this is looking best. Okay, let's lock it. And here we are. This is now looking perfect. Now we are going to create our user profile image. So for this, let's select again the ellipse tool by pressing O key on the keyboard and click. Okay, lock the aspect ratio, and we have already created some sizes based on 8-point system. So let's select 40, which is 1000, and here we are. So now the first thing I'm going to do is to apply user profile image. So press command forward slash, and here I am using this plugin face dummy. Okay, this provide transparent images. Some of them are locked, so I'm using the free version. We can use, okay, so we have all varieties of images, but the cool thing is this is transparent. Okay, so now we applied this image. As you can see, this is not a high resolution image, but we can still apply some color. So for example, I click on this and select library. Let's try this purple background. Okay, so I think this is looking perfect. Okay, and let's again select the type tool by pressing T key on the keyboard and click. So this time I'm going to type hey Sarah, and the subtext. So for the subtext, I'm going to duplicate this with the option and shift key. So let's type good morning. Okay, and press the space bar, command control command, okay, and the space bar. So emoji panel open, I'm going to use emoji. Okay, press escape key. Now I'm going to select the both text and apply the text style. So I have already the style in my preset, sorry, in my design system I have the typography system created. So I'm going to use subtitle. Okay, mobile slash subtitle. So let's use semi bold, and for this one I'm going to use the regular one. Okay, select both and align, left align, convert to auto layout by pressing shift A on the keyboard, and for the spacing I'm going to use 4. Okay, and for the color let's make this slate 1200. Okay, so I have this slate color palette, I'm going to use slate 1200. Now select with the image and again convert to auto layout by pressing shift A on the keyboard, and this time I'm going to use 16. So as you can see, our picture and titles looks great. Okay, so make sure that we are, yes, we are using subtitle, and let's make it, I think let's stick with the semi bold one. Okay, and let's align it to the center. Now it's time to rename this. So this is going to be content, okay, picture, and text. Okay, so this is going to be left side, so let's make this left content. Now I am going to again select the ellipse tool, click and lock the aspect ratio. This time again I am going to select 40. Okay, 40 by 40 ellipse, convert. Okay, so before converting to auto layout and doing this stuff, so let's apply the white color. As you can see, I have white, and in the foundation we created, like for example we have this white transparency. This is important for same as white and black. Okay, so this is the good practice. Let's try this I think let's stick with the 50%. So let's make it white 50. Now we need bell icon here. So for the icon, I'm going to again select text tool and let's type icon. So there's, you guys can see center line and make this middle align. Okay. And for the color, let's make this slate 1200. I'm using SF symbol. So let's type bell, and as you can see we have this bell icon, so let's copy this one or maybe this simple one. Okay, so let's copy and paste the icon here. So as you can see I'm using SF Pro display. As you can see here I'm going to use SF Pro display in the typography. Okay, so in the design system we have created this amazing system inside variable, so you have to just only change the name of the font here and your system will be updated here in this panel and also in this local style. As you can see all the system update is, for example, if I choose here like enter, so enter for the heading, enter for the body, enter for the button. So as you can see all the system updated quickly. If we use pop-in, so we can change this. Okay, so you have to simply change the text here if you have created the same system which I have created in the videos. So let's type SF Pro display. I'm going to copy this and paste it here and paste it here. Okay, so as you can see now the icons working great. So let's make this 32 by 32, and for the text size this is 1816, so let's maybe use semi bold 20, or instead of bold let's stick with the 16 and medium. Okay, now I think this is looking great, and let's try 24 for the width and height. Option VH to center line, and as you can see now I'm going to right click and make it frame selection. So this is going to be notification icon notification, and this is the background and this is the exact icon. And now I'm going to select all these and convert to auto layout. Okay, so this is going to be the header. Well, let's make this header. Okay, and now let's adjust the spacing. So for the spacing from the left and right we are going to use 24 by 24. Okay, so 24, and for the top and bottom let's first adjust the status bar. Okay, so I think they use 62, so let's make it 48 or maybe 64. Okay, so we don't need to mess up with our 8-point system. So let's try here 8 and 16. 16 is looking best. Okay, so this is our header, and now we are going to create our promo card. Okay, so before we are moving to the next section, I quickly noticed that we need to make this background white. So let's select white. And for this text, this is slightly bigger. So let's adjust this. This is 18. And let's try regular body, which is 16. And as you can see, I think this is slightly looking better, but let's make the spacing 0. And as you can see now this is looking perfect. Let's make this fill container, and for this spacing I'm going to use 16. So let's try to use 16. Let's try body small so that we can, this is slightly smaller, so let's make 16. Let's stick with the 16 one. Okay, so now it's perfect time to start in designing our promo header banner. Okay, so let's select again frame tool, click here, and as you can see this is 100 by 100 frame. Click on the fill color and assign some random color. This is fine so that we can track the changes. Okay, now let's click in the width, and in the width I'm going to type 354, and for the height let's type 204, and this is the perfect width and height. Let's define corner radius. So we have already the corner radius values defined, so let's select 24. As you can see this is pretty looking smooth. Okay, now let's define the gradient. So for the gradient I'm going to select the gradient and select the first color stop, click on the libraries, and here let's type pink 600. For the second color stop, type orange and 600. So as we can see, from pink to orange, this is looking pretty vibrant color. Okay, and I really like this color palette. So now let's type the text. For the text, I am going to select the text tool and let's type today's screen time. Okay, so this text is still selected. I'm going to select the type. So for the type, let's select body small and regular. This is for this text. We have caption, so let's try caption, but caption is 12, so I think 12 is slightly smaller for this text, but let's stick with the caption one. Okay, so the screen time here, and for this the second text, I am going to select H1 and let's type medium. So for this text, 4 hours 5 minutes, this is the big text. And now let's duplicate again this text. This time I am going to select again caption, and for the caption regular is fine because we have already used the regular one, and it is good practice to use minimum font sizes. Okay, so let's select both and convert to auto layout. For the gap, I'm going to stick with the 8 center line, select this text and convert to auto layout. For this gap, let's make it 8. Okay, and I think this is looking pretty good, but let's decrease the opacity of this one. So we have 75% white, so let's make it 75 white. Okay, for the rest of these two, I think white is fine for now. We can change it later. Okay, so this is our top section, and now let's create our progress bar. So for the progress bar, I am going to select frame tool again, and for the height, let's make it 8. For the color, I am going to select white, and for the corner radius, make it full. This is looking pretty good. We are going to extend this, so before extending this, let's make this auto layout. Okay, so I have already created the auto layout. Press command X and paste it here. So paste this auto layout frame and make it fill container. Now let's align this properly. So let's make it 24 from the top, 24 from the left side. Okay, and we are going to increase the width by command shift. Okay, so let's check the width 24. Okay, so as you can see, this space, this need to be slightly double. So let's select both these text and convert again to auto layout, make it 8 with connect with the variable. And for this main frame, let's select this main frame, and here I'm going to select 16. So this is slightly space added, which is good. Now I'm going to select the top text, paste, and here let's type screen free time. Okay, and copy this text, paste it here, which is 1 hour 29 minutes. Okay, so for this text, we are going to use subtitle medium. Okay, and select both text, convert to auto layout. For the gap, we are going to use maybe 8 or 4. So I think we can use 4. Let's stick with the 4 and let's duplicate this frame. The second is going to be breaks taken, which is 7 times. Okay, and now select both, convert to auto layout and make it horizontal. Okay, and make it auto. Select both and make it fill container. Okay, this text also need to be fill container, and this text also need to be fill container. For the gap, it is good practice to define the gap also, because if sometime we need to increase the text, so we don't need to worry about the spacing. Okay, so for these two, I am going to align it to the left side. Okay, so now I think we need to increase the spacing here. This is looking pretty congesting. So let's make it 32. Okay, and let's check the spacing. So from the top, let's try 16. And here we have 24. I think for the bottom we can decrease the size, but I think let's stick with the 24 from the top and 24 from the bottom. This is looking good. Okay, so we can stick with this size. Okay, so as you can see, our promo banner is looking perfect, but one thing is missing. I want to place an image here. Okay, so the image I have already downloaded from the prefix, so let me place it here. Okay, Option Command K. Okay, so here is the image I am going to place. First, we need to click and drag selection for the image. Okay, so this is the image. If you want to use the exact same image, here is the image I downloaded from the free pick, and here is the code. If you want to use the same image, you can enter the code and prefix will provide you the same image. Okay, and now I really like the theme of the image. The smartphone is using the dark mode. Okay, so I want to remove the background from this image, and I like the oral image. Okay, so let me select the image and let's use the plugin here. Okay, we don't need to open it in Photoshop and start selection and do some complex selection. So the cool thing is here we have already a plugin we can use and remove the background. So let's click command forward slash and click on the plugin and widgets, and here as you can see you can type narrow. I already have the plugin added. You would see a pop-up like this. Just click run. To use this plugin you need to put an API key. You should click the link in the description to get 50 free credits like 30 to 50 images. Just click Get Free API Key, log in with Google, and follow the steps to claim 50 credits. You don't need to put in credit card. So let's click, and as we can see it provides three big features. Okay, the first one is remove background, which we are going to use now, and the second one is upscale. So if you have low resolution image and you want to upscale it, you can use this feature. Okay, or you have some large scale images and you want to compress it for the web, you can use this feature. Okay, so let's click on the remove bg feature, and here we are. So let's place the plugin here, and as we can see our feature is selected, remove bg. Our picture is also selected in the preview window. As you can see our picture, and here we have remove option. So let's click on the remove, and it will start scanning the image and removing the background. Okay, so as you can see, our image has no background, it's transparent and looks great. Okay, I can click apply or start over. So let's, my image is perfect and ready to use. So I will press apply. So this is a really great plugin which I will be using onwards. And so let's close the plugin. Let's copy the image here and paste it. Okay, so this was the image, and as you can see here I have already defined the round corner because this was, if this is 0, so, and also make this unclip. So as you can see this, the edge is pretty sharp and we have round edges. So let's make this one is 24. So 24, and make it send to bake here. Okay, and next I'm going to select the crop tool. Let's try to adjust the frame size with the cropping image. Okay, and let's increase the height. So let's try something like this. Now this is looking pretty good, but we have here text and progress bar which is mixing with the image. So what I need is to select a rectangle tool and click here inside frame. Let's select the frame and paste here inside. Let's align it here something like this. Send it to bake and select the picture, send it to bake. So we need this rectangle to be on above the picture. So let's select both and make it dark. Select gradient, select this one also dark, rotate. Okay, and for this one make it 0. For the corner radius, let's try 24 and 24. Align it to the card. And now I'm going to click on effects and select background blur, and we are going to select Excel. So as you can see, we have added this dark shadow, but let's drop the opacity here. Okay, so let's make it 10 so we don't have this edge here. Okay, so now as you can see, I noticed there that inside background blur, let's unlink here and click here. So instead of uniform, select progressive. So what progressive will do, it will start from the 0, and 0 is good because I don't want sharp edges here, and let's end it with the 32. Now our image and gradient is looking perfect. So as you can see, our text is now looking perfect. We can also make this more blur. So for example, we are already using variable, so let's increase it. Maybe let's try 64 here, make it more blur, but this is too much, so let's try smaller. Maybe we can stick with the 48. I think 48 is fine. Later on, I'm thinking about here, we can add some iconography here. We can decide it later. Okay, so now let's select the image. And for the image, I'm thinking to add some effects here. As you can see, I have already added previously. So let's adjust it here. So I have already added contrast and saturation. This is also looking great, but let's stick with the color one. Okay, so this is the saturation, exposure and contrast. As you can see, our image is looking perfect, and this is like a glass effect. And now I'm going to rename the main card, so this is card promo, and click on effects, select elevation and make it 500. As you can see, our card is now looking perfect, but I decide to add icons to the left side of each category. So this category have the icon here and this one have icon here. So let's copy this icon because we have already created icon. So let's copy the same icon here and let's paste it here. And for the icon frame, I think we are going to use 32. Same thing for the base 32, and align icon to the center, make it white. For the base we are going to use 25. And icon, I think first we need to replace the icon, then we can decide later, okay, we are changing or not. So let's select both icon and text, convert to auto layout, center line, and for the spacing let's try 8. So we are going to just simply duplicate this and press command X, paste it here, copy the text, paste and match style, copy the text, paste and match style. This need to be auto, and make this one hug. Also this needs to be hug content and hug. Okay, this needs to be hug. Select this text and make it hug. Okay, so both are hug fine, and we are going to add some spacing here. So let's try to add, maybe we can add 16. So let's add 16. I think why this is, make it auto. So let's stick with the auto one. Okay, and here let's delete this text. And okay, so screen free time, we are going to use the icon here. So for the icon, paste it here, and as you can see, So breaks taken. This is like a notification system, so it is looking good. Okay, so now as you can see, our card is completed and I am pretty happy with the result. So press option L to collapse all the layers. This is the shortcut, so we can collapse and expand. And here our card is now perfect. So I'm going to press option command K to convert this to component. Press command D and press command X, paste it here. So this is our first component we created, and for the icon this component is perfect. So let's press option command K to convert this to component and select the master one. Press command X, paste it here. So every time we need icon component, we can use this one. For example, if I want to change, let's try from 16 to 14. So as you can see, this is looking good. So we have created our header and this is our banner, and let's add some spacing here. Okay, so far so good. Now it's time to create two subcard. One is for the eye care and the second one is for the app blocker. So we can visually design it here, and from here we can also access, and from the footer bottom bar we can also access to the sub pages. So let's create eye care card first. So what I'm doing is again selecting frame, click here, and as you can see 100 by 100 frame, click on fill and select color. Okay, now I'm going to assign the width. So for the width, let's type 169, 124 for the height. For the corner radius, let's stick with the 16. Okay, so this is the small card, so we are going to use 16. Next, we are going to click on the fill color, again gradient, and for the first color, we have here sky. So let's type sky and 500. For the second color, we have indigo 600. Okay, so this is like a soothing blue color. Our card is looking perfect. For the text and content and icon, we are going to use this section. Okay, we have already created icon, title and subtitle, so let's copy and paste it here. Okay, let's quickly change vertical and horizontal. So this is now horizontal, let's make it vertical format. Okay, and for the spacing, I think 16 would be best, so let's stick with 16 from the top and left side. Let's make this 32. This is 8 now. Let's change format to I care. For the subtext 20 20 dash 20 dash 20 rule. Let's try this 16. I am pressing command and arrow key on the keyboard. So as you can see 16 from the left top, and we are also using 16 from the bottom. So let's try 24. As you can see now it is 16. Okay, so 16 from all the side spacing, and let's duplicate this. Let's select both, convert auto layout and make it horizontal layout. Okay, and make it auto fill container, and here we are going to use shape icons, copy paste. Okay, now let's change the text. So for the text I'm going to use, let's try 12. Okay, 12 medium is fine. And for the frame size, we have already frame size, so for the frame size let's stick with the 16 center line. Okay, and for this main frame let's stick with the 24. For the sub icon, for the sub circle, we have to make it 24 center line, this one, and center line. And now as you can see, let's align this to the left side. Okay, and also to the left side we don't need, so let's disable it here. We only need icon. Okay, we can also add drop shadow. So for click on effects and let's try 300. I think we need to add 400 or 500, so let's try 400. 400 is looking good. And This is one card, so let's try card space hop. Okay, so let's call this hop card, and I'm going to convert this to component, duplicate, select master component, press command X and paste it here. Now let's duplicate this. We only need to change the color. So for the second one, we are going to use some warm color, alert color, because this is the blocker. So let's use maybe yellow 500 and red 600. Let's change the text app blocker, and this one is focus mode. Okay, and we need to make this one is fill container. Okay, we need to make this fill container, and now everything is looking perfect. Okay, but we need to change the icon here. So let's double click. This is also text, so we don't need to worry about the sizing, etc. So let's, for the another icon, we are going to use shield. Okay, so this is for the app blocker, and this is for the eye care mode. For this text, I think this is 12, so let's try overline and 10. Let's change it here. Okay, I think we need to stick with this one, but let's try dropping opacity. Okay, so let's make it 75. I think this is looking good, so let's stick with it. So this is the sub card, and now we are going to create activity reminder section. So let's create this. Okay, let's check the spacing here. So as you can see here, this is 16, so maybe we can use 24 or we can use 32. We have to extend this size, so let's make this 2000. Okay, so far so good, and now let's start and create active reminder section. So for this section, I'm going to select text tool and click. Let's type active reminders. Okay, now I have active reminder text. Let's select the size of the text. So we have subtitle. Let's use subtitle and medium. This is the perfect for the subtitle text, and for the color I am going to use slate 1200. So let's select this and let's duplicate this text. I'm creating the link one. So for the link, let's use caption and select regular 12. Okay, for the text, let's type new, add new. Okay, and for the color, I'm going to use pink. So pink 600. Okay, let's use icon. So for the icon, I have already typed the icon, so add, and let's copy this icon with the circle, double click and paste it here. Press the space bar, and as you can see, this is looking perfect. Now I'm going to press shift A to convert this to auto layout, and for the fill color, let's select library and use pink. Choose 200, 200 looking perfect, and for the top and bottom spacing, let's make it 4, and for the left and right, make it 8, and let's choose full. Okay, so let's check this out. I think we need to add some extra space here, and let's make this fill container. Let's add 16. Okay, so let's try, instead of 4, let's try 8. 8 is slightly bigger. We need to smaller the icon. So for the text, we need to choose 10 regular, which is our line text, and I think now this is looking good, but let's use medium now. So medium is looking perfect, and this is our title. Let's check the spacing from both sides. So 24 is perfect, and here we need to add 32. So as you can see now, this is looking perfect, and now we need to create the section. So for the section, let's select frame tool again by pressing F key on the keyboard, and here we are. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make this white so that we can see the changes. Let's zoom in, and here we are. So for the size, 35354 and 160 for now. Maybe later on we can update. Okay, and for the roundness, this is big section, so let's make it 24. Okay, so now we need icon. So I have already the icon. Let's copy the icon and paste it here. As you can see, this icon is pretty good, so let's use this one. For the bottom, for the background color, I am going to use indigo, and or maybe let's try blue, uh, sky blue. Let's try sky. Okay, so let's make this, for this make it white. Okay, and let's choose indigo. Okay, I think indigo look good, so let's stick with the indigo, and here we are. So first we are going to change the icon. So for the icon, I am going to use eye icon. Okay, so let's click here, eye, and change the icon here. Okay, and maybe we don't need instance, so let's detach this because we are going to modify this. Okay, so let's click here and let's type text 20-20-20 rule. Okay, and this is basically active reminder for the 2020 rule. Body medium, let's choose slate 1200. Let's try caption regular for the subtext. Select both and left align. Okay, so for the subtext, I'm thinking maybe we can use slate 600. This is like a secondary text, and let's change the text every 20 minutes. Okay, now let's select both text, convert to auto layout, and for the spacing let's use 8. Select icon and convert to auto layout. For this spacing let's use 16. Okay, so from the top 16, 16 from the left, let's try 24. Okay, so 24 looking good, and here we are. So first let's adjust the size of this icon. So let's try, I think 48 is slightly bigger, so let's stick with the 41. Okay, and for the roundness we are going to use full. For the icon size, body regular, make it medium. I think this is looking good, and let's duplicate, align it to the right side. Let's add some spacing here. 16. Okay, so we are going to make this fill container. Okay, and let's try to use exact this icon. So we have already converted this to component. Let's use this one. Okay, this is good. Make this pink 200, and for the icon we are going to use pink 600. Okay, so let's select bell icon, and this time we are going to use spell. Okay, this is looking perfect. As you can see, let's draw a again, sorry, line with the L key, and let's choose slate 200. This is looking perfect. 16 and 16. let's make this 16. Okay, and now let's duplicate this. This one is different. Stretch break every 60 minutes, sorry. Let's make this orange 600, and for the icon let's use this one. Okay, so stretching exercise, both are the exercise notification is turned on. Let's try pink 100. Okay, now this is looking perfect, and as you can see 24 top bottom and 16 in the middle. Spacing is perfect, and here we need to adjust the spacing, so let's try make it 16. Okay, so 32, and this is I think looking great. Okay, maybe we can adjust the title, so this is body, let's try this one, but I think 16 look good, so let's stick with the 16 one. Okay, so this is our active reminder section, and next we are going to create top time waster. Okay, so this will be also a list and which include all the application which wasting too much time. So let's create that section. Okay, so I noticed that these color are matching with these categories, so this is not good practice. So let's change this. So for example, this one I'm going to use blue, or maybe let's try sky. So sky 600, and let's use green one. Okay, so green 600 for this one, or maybe instead of sky let's use blue, standard blue color. Okay, I think this is looking good. So now these are like a different from the rest of the color palette. So if this list is increasing, so we have multiple color options we can use, and it will look slightly better. Okay, so now we are going to create top time waster. Okay, so let's duplicate this because we are going to use the exact title, top time wasters. So let's make this view all. Okay, this is also link, and let's try to add chevron. So this is looking good, so let's use it. And for the list I'm going to use the same list. Okay, so now as you can see we have duplicate this section, and here we are going to modify this. So for example I'm doing let's first ungroup this auto layout, so with the shift command and G, so it will ungroup. We don't need this section, we will only create one section and then we are going to repeat it. Okay, so this is already auto layout. First thing I am going to do is to apply padding. So let's try 16, or maybe for now let's try 16, and later on we can decide how to adjust this. So red 100 is the background because this is some kind of alert we are going to create. So let's try this, and now I'm going to do is make this 16, so let's try 8. Okay, corner radius is going to be 8. Make this white. Okay, this is going to be white, and for the stroke this is already on the color, so let's try this one. Okay, and make stroke outside, some kind of this effect. Okay, and let's make this Instagram. Okay, let's check the size of this. This is 16 and medium. Okay, let's try 14 medium. I think 14 medium look good, and this is caption regular, but this text also need to be the dark because The time is important here, so we are going to make this also prominent. Make this horizontal and center line. Okay, we don't need this icon here, so let's delete this. Okay, so here we need to make this fill container, and the time is here, so we need to make this 16. Align it from the left side. This is from the left side and the minutes is from the right side. Okay, so now we create this, and I have already the Instagram logo, so I'm just going copy and paste it here. Okay, so the first is Instagram, and we are going to now create progress bar. So for the progress bar, I'm thinking to create frame, and okay, so let's create frame outside of here. Let's create here and make it 40. Okay, and for the height, let's try 4. This is going to be full, the radius is going to be full, and for the color, this is going to be dark, and make this 25% transparent. Okay, and inside, let's type this progress bar. Okay, and inside progress bar, let's create rectangle, and this rectangle is going to be fill. So inside progress bar, this is fill. Same property here, let's make this 40. Okay, 1000, and for the 4 this is 100, and central line. Okay, make this full. Okay, and as you can see now, we can only change color here and it will update. So let's copy and let's create another auto layout frame, so we can press shift A on the keyboard again. So as you can see, this is now created another layout. So here we are going to simply duplicate, select both, convert auto layout, and here we are. So let's duplicate, let's try 5 time. Okay, 5 time I think is best. So let's, yeah, I think 5 time is best. So it's okay, Instagram is taking space like, so we are going to select orange and make this fill. Okay, this is going to be unfilled, and here we are for the Instagram. Okay, and Instagram, for the section, let's define the spacing. So I think 8 is bit. If we can make it 4, 4 is slightly smaller. We can also try 16 and align it to the top. I think this is look good, so let's leave it. Here we are going to make this 16 by 16. It is good practice to convert this to component, and let's list color, let's call this list color. Okay, and cut, paste it here, duplicate, let's extend the list. Okay, so Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Okay, so let's call this, we can call this X. Okay, so this is component, and so let's detach this, make this space to replace. Okay, so this is X is taking 15 minutes. So for the 15 minutes, we want to disable this one and this one. Okay, and also this is, instead of orange, let's define yellow. So this is yellow, Still this is in the initial stage. This is taking 45 minutes. This will be orange, and now it's time to update TikTok. So for the TikTok, so let's detach instance. Here I think we don't need to create component here, so let's copy and paste to replace. This is TikTok, and here we are. Inside we have this fill, and let's turn on. Okay, so select all these fill, click on the fill, select red, and it's taking too much time, so let's make this 1 hour 7 minutes. Okay, so this is our top Wester app, and here we are. Okay, so far so good. Our app is looking great, and now we are going to create our pay button and then navigation, sorry, tab bar. Okay, okay, so let's start and create fab button. So for the fab button, I'm going to use this button. We have already created icon, so we need a placeholder and icon. Let's try and make this 56 by 56. Okay, so for the white, click on the custom, select gradient, and for the first color, let's try pink. Pink is our interactive color, and let's try pink darker color. Okay, and for the opacity, let's make it 100. Okay, now let's define corner radius, make it full, or for the button, let's make it white. Okay, so let's add icon here. So we are going to use add this icon. Okay, so let's try a regular, which is looking good, so let's stick with this one. Okay, and this is our pay button. For the spacing, we are going to use 32 for now and 24 from the left side. This is looking good. We can also place it here. This is looking perfect. Okay, this is our pay button. Place it here. Okay, and now final thing, let's create our tab bar. So let's create, and for this I am going to select, first thing is to start from icon. Okay, so for the icon we have this icon, let's use this one. Okay, paste here. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is to detach instant. So let's start with the changing background color first. Okay, so this one is going to be selected, so let's make it pink 100. Let's select text tool and let's type home. So home text, and first we are going to change the text property, so let's stick with the 12 medium. Okay, 12 medium. For the color, we are going to make this, instead of white, let's make this slate 1200. Let's copy and paste here. Okay, as you can see here, the size is fixed, so let's make it a hug content and let's make it a hug. For the left and right, let's make it 16. For the top and bottom, let's make it 8. And here we are also thinking 8 will be perfect. Okay, so for the roundness, let's try 8. Okay, now we need to press enter, select both and make it fill container. Yeah, it's already fill container. Okay, so now I'm going to choose the home icon, the fill one, because this is the first state is selected. So let's make it pink 600. Okay, so now as you can see, this is selected state, and let's convert this again to auto layout. Make this white fill. Okay, white is perfect. Let's align it to the left side. Okay, so for the left and right spacing, let's make it 24. let's make this 402. I think this is the frame size. Yeah, so let's make this 402. For this, align it to the left side, and as you can see, press duplicate again, one more time and one more time. So these are the four navigation pages, and let's make this white. Okay, and for the inner, I think we can use 600, or let's try 500. I think let's try 500 because 600 is still visible. So let's check this. Yeah, it's 500. Now it's looking perfect, and let's change the text quickly. So make, instead of medium, let's make it regular. Okay, regular is fine. Change the text. I care. For the icon, we have icon, so let's use icon, this one. Let's check another icon, shield. Use this one. For the text, this is going to be blocker. Okay, so for this one, states. Okay, and for the state, okay, let's try search chart, and here we are. So the first one is perfect. We can use this one, or we can use this one. So let's see. I think this one is looking perfect, so let's use this one. Okay, so this is the tab bar, and okay, so for the height, what I'm thinking is to, let's try fix the height. Okay, so for the height, normally let's stick with the 80. Okay, and here press return key and make this fill container. So both are fill container, and the inner space is 8 big. I think 8 is fine, but let's try 4. Okay, so I think let's stick with the 72. 72, and this is looking perfect. So let's try it. So this is our tab bar, and now let's collapse all the layer, convert to components. Let's duplicate this and copy the master component, paste it here. Okay, so let's paste it here. So as you can see, now everything is looking perfect. Okay, so let's bring this here, and let's add spacing 32, send it to bake, and place it here. Let me see the, okay, so let's make this 100. Let's try to paste it here and add spacing here. Okay, so this is our home screen, and it is finished. We created our home screen so far, and this is looking perfect. Now it's time to start in designing iCare timer.